Welcome to the Motorcycles and Misfits podcast.
The last time we did it on the fly intro, I think we were by the crappers at the one show, not the one show at the Quail. No, so we are in the helmet closet.
Yeah, live from...
Hey everyone, this is Liza, and we are coming to you from the one show in Las Vegas. With me here at the show, we've got
Craigzilla,
in the house,
Chris, Naked Jim, son, Mike,
Junkzilla,
Emma, darling.
and Scottie.
Yeah. So this has been a big weekend of events. We've been doing a lot of stuff. So we're here at the one show having a great time. There's a big party going on out there. It's been a long weekend.
Full rager.
Oh, yeah. But what's been highlights? Because some of you, Chris, this is your first time doing either of these events, right?
This is my first time, doing the AIM and this one show, and it's where I want to be next year.
Yes.
Sure.
And of course, Junky Turdman here.
Yeah, my highlights, honestly, the highlights for me is running into people I know. I'm always at these things by myself, being a one-man crew, and when I run into people that I know, it's quadruple exciting.
Yeah. Well, even for us, we were just trying to sneak away to record, and here comes a couple wearing our T-shirt.
Absolutely. It's great everywhere you go.
I know. So we started out at the AimExpo at the convention center.
Yeah.
And for those of us who've been going a few years, it kind of didn't get so good. But wouldn't you say it got better this year?
Yeah, a couple of years ago when I was there, there weren't a lot of bikes. You were kind of like, what's going on? And there was a huge e-bike presence, right? But fast forward 2 years to this year, and it seemed to be motorcycle centric again. You see a lot more of the electric stuff because that's just the way the world's going. But it felt more like the AIM Expo used to be,
Yeah, and it's also a bit of a reunion. We run into people.
Right.
We see...
We see people that we only see once a year. But the last time we were at AIM Expo, I think there were 2 major manufacturers there. The year before, there was just one.
Yeah.
This year, all the big 4 were there and many, many more.
We had the Nova Motorcycles group come out.
Yeah, which is great
Yeah.
seeing them. And
Our friend Joanna.
yes.
Lots of old friends, Aaron Sills and Sarah Schilke and so many more. Oh, ran into Doodle, our friend Carolyn, Doodle on a motorcycle.
Oh, I saw you talking to Doodle.
Yeah, and Sean from Bikes and Beards.
Right.
So always a good time. We got to do some pretty cool interviews. And I asked everyone to go out and find a cool story. So the first one, I talked to Ollie, the trials guy.
Oh.
Yeah,
Oset
on the Oset.
Yeah.
Oset bikes, electric trial bikes. What an amazing story! How those bikes came to be. Check that out here. All right, can I get your name and where you're from?
Yeah, Ollie Smith from Nottingham in the UK.
We just covered where that is. It's where Robin Hood's from.
Yeah, Robin Hood, what's it called? Sherwood Forest, that's it.
It's a real thing.
Yeah, it is a real thing. I only found that out the other day.
So we're here at AimExpo, and you are here with, is it Oset?
Yeah, Oset bikes.
Oset bikes. I just saw you doing a little demo of some trials riding. You got this tiny space they gave you.
Yeah.
It's about 15 by 15. It's not very big. And a giant obstacle in the middle, but you're out here doing some trials, demos. So tell me a bit about Oset. What is Oset?
So Oset was started by my dad 20 years ago now. Basically as an alternative to a gas bike. There was nothing until I was 6 years old. And even then we lived in the middle of Denver, Colorado at the time. Oh. And obviously you can't start up a gas bike without annoying the neighbors.
Yeah.
So Dad, he's not an engineer or anything, but he saw that I was bike obsessed from that age, but with nowhere to kind of get it out of my system. So him and an engineering buddy of his made a little bike that was for me at 3 years old. So, and it's still smaller than our smallest bike.
Wow. So we're sitting here looking at some small bikes. So tell me, what does Oset stand for?
So it stands for Oliver Smith Electric Trials, which is quite cool.
It's pretty cool, man.
Yeah.
It's named after you. So you started when you're young. You started on a small bike. Like, tell me about this little bike we're looking at here.
Yeah, so our smallest bike is the 12.5, and it is aimed for riders 3 and upwards.
Yeah.
And and it's great. It's electric, can be turned down to slower than walking speed.
Oh, perfect.
It's got the low seat, so kids can start off similar to a strider and have their feet on the ground and be comfortable, and then eventually turn the power up, and then, you know, start their journey on motorbikes.
And then start standing up and
Yeah.
riding.
And that, yeah, all of the throttle control, balance, brakes, all of that can be learned at a young age before they even get on a bicycle.
I love that you can control the throttle, so you don't have to worry about whiskey throttle. I have a good friend who taught his son to ride when he was 5 and learned that he had to put a leash on him because the first time he taught him how to use the throttle, he took off and hit a fence.
Yep. Yeah.
So now you can just control that with the electric.
I think the whiskey throttle, it still happens.
Yeah.
People forget that electric bikes are turned on and you go flying into fences. But yeah, it makes it a lot more comfortable for parents knowing that the bike is able to be turned down and be safe for their kids.
So you started out young, riding the trials. Were you the first one in the family doing the trials, or does your family do it also?
And my dad grew up obsessed with bikes, but his parents wouldn't let him have a bike.
Oh,
so
poor
he
guy.
saved up. When he was 15, he did a paper round and bought himself a bike. But he was just obsessed from day dot, kind of similar to me. So he got into trials at 15, then got back into it when I was born. And then since then, it's been a family obsession. My mum rode, sister has ridden, and then my brother is a kind of national world level downhill mountain biker as well.
Oh,
as
wow.
well as a trials rider. He's quite a talent.
So you compete?
Yeah, I compete at the World Championship, British Championship, and a few other events around the world. For any trials riders listening, we've got the Scottish 6 days, the Scott Trial, and then the World Championship as well, which I try and do all of that.
Is this hard to make a career in trials riding?
Nearly impossible. Yeah, I don't earn any money apart from doing shows and training days and stuff. But as much as it's not a career, it's opened a lot of doors for me at the same time that can lead to a career. So as much as a career in trials isn't really a possibility unless you're in the top 5 in the world,
Right.
It's still a fun way to maybe earn some money.
So I see you've got another bike here, the 16.0.
Yeah.
So this is what age group would you put that in?
So we tend to have riders. It obviously depends on the size of the kid.
Mm-hmm.
But riders kind of 4 through 7 or 8
Okay.
get onto this bike. And then we don't have one here, but a 20, which is for riders kind of 6 through 10, 11. So all of the bikes can overlap in age. It just depends on the size of the rider.
So you sell these bikes to kids. Do you see a lot of kids like who maybe didn't have an interest in trials, but suddenly like, is it more the parents getting them into it, or is it the kids who were wanting to do it?
Yeah, I think it traditionally starts as a kid seeing it somewhere,
Mm-hmm.
maybe another kid in the neighborhood, from a completely unrelated bike family. Little kid sees it, pesters parents for a bike, and kind of gets going there. And then from there, it draws the whole family into the world of motorcycles.
Yeah, exactly. This is something I've said on my show. It's the lowest barrier to entry of any motorsport, right?
Yeah.
Any age
Yeah.
can compete.
Yeah, from 4 upwards in the UK, you can compete in official events and be insured.
Right. You can practice anywhere in any environment.
Anywhere, back gardens. I used to ride on the streets in my neighborhoods, and even this.
Pavement, dirt, grass.
Yeah,
You
it's
name
perfect.
it.
Yeah.
Perfect. So the question that I've posed, I want to see if you have an answer to it. Why isn't it more popular here in the States when anyone can do it and the skills that you gain translate to other riding styles? Why isn't it more popular?
I think any motorbike enthusiast will appreciate how important trials is to the overall motorcycling world. But the issue is for the general public is that it's hard to understand as a sport. There are lots of rules that are complicated. And, you know, whereas in racing, the first across the finish line is the winner.
Right.
In trials, you have loads of different rules, you know, dabbing and fives and missing markers and snapping the tape. And then you've got the added, it's just complexity of an observer. So it's judged. So there are so many different elements that make it complicated for
Right.
the general public, which I think is the biggest barrier, to be honest.
But even just as a hobby.
As a hobby, I'm not sure. So I know, and I think a lot of the motorcycling world knows that so many good riders have started in trials and gone on to different things, like Billy Bolt, one of the biggest names in the biking world at the minute. He was a world level trials rider. And then even Jorge Prado, the 2-time MXGP champion, started in trials. There are Moto2 riders like Alonso Lopez who started on an Oset.
Really?
So Hayden Deegan's had Osets. It's just not that well publicized.
We've had Cody Webb on our show.
Yeah.
He's a big proponent.
Yeah. Cody was 2010 national champion here. Incredible rider. Yeah. But it all started in trials, and he was an incredible trials rider.
So how did the skills translate to other styles of riding?
Trials gives you the foundations that no other sport can really give you. It gives you throttle control, understanding of balance. And one thing I think that trials riders have over other riders is being able to read terrain.
Yes.
We're able to pick out where grip is, where other riders might not be.
I've noticed that following Cody Webb, and you'd see doing like hard enduro races, and everyone's taking the same path, and he would just go off on some side path that no one's choosing.
Yeah.
And pass riders.
Trials promotes a lot of independent thinking because it's you're not racing against anybody. You're not directly competing. There's no intense rivalries. It's you versus the sections. And what that does in general is it teaches you to kind of look at everything and analyze it in your own way, because what works for you might not work for anybody else.
So now I want to address electric versus gas. Pros and cons, because in this world, we have a lot of electric companies coming out with bikes. Not all are succeeding on the road. A lot of them are struggling to be accepted. But in trials, there's really not that barrier because you don't have to worry about distance riding or battery time. So what are the pros and cons between electric and gas if somebody's going to look at buying a bike?
Well, I'll start. For kids, there's no question anymore. Until you're, I'd argue, 13 years old, you don't have to touch a petrol bike. Electric bikes will give you all of the kind of foundational skills that you need before potentially transitioning. And I'm a diehard biker at heart. I love the sound. I love two strokes. I love the sound of bikes. But electric bikes are becoming more and more practical. Trials is a tricky one because it's such a controlled sport. So, the two strokes that we have are so well refined for what we do that the electric bikes have struggled to catch up. And it's only in 2024 that electric bikes have been a genuine competitor in the World Championship. But that's just due to the controlling of a mechanical clutch that you have to do. Like motocross bikes like the Stark Varg can just be direct drive, no clutch, no gearbox.
Right.
Because it's just twist and go, and that's fine because you don't need that low down controllability. Whereas for trials, at a high world championship level, you need to have a clutch. You need to have
that
different
feather
gears.
Control. Yes.
Yeah, because quite often you'll be launching at 6 to 10 foot steps with no run up.
Right.
So you need that instant delivery of power, which electric is great for, but you need a clutch and a flywheel to be able to deliver.
It's not the same as spooling it up and dumping the clutch.
Exactly.
Right.
Having a flywheel we tried as Oset, we tried an electric bike without a flywheel and it just didn't work. So it needs a mechanical bottom end to the bike. But for kids starting, you don't need that.
Well, and if it's a hobby,
yeah,
you can again practice anywhere and not bother anybody.
Yeah, exactly. As a hobby, especially in the United States, it's a sport that doesn't need much space. You're never making that much noise, regardless on if you're on a gas or an electric bike. The bikes are quiet, eco-friendly, and very cheap. You can pick up a pretty decent, less than 5-year-old bike for $2,000.
Yeah.
And then the cost of running it is gas and maybe some tires every so often. But at a hobby level, you're not going to be breaking stuff, not like you do on a motocross bike.
It's pretty cool. And you're here with Triumph. You want to explain the relationship?
Yeah. So up until 2022, we were a family-owned business. And then in 2022, we were bought by Triumph, which is very cool to be part of another British brand.
Yeah.
And, again, Triumph is a family-owned business by John Bloor and Nick Bloor. So to be part of that, we're the only company that Triumph has ever bought. So to have that relationship with such a well-esteemed brand is just brilliant. And it gives us a lot of credibility as well, as Oset.
So I assume then for somebody who's looking to buy a bike, they can go to their Triumph dealer?
Yeah. So Osets are now available through any Triumph dealer throughout through 52 Triumph dealers throughout the States. So covers pretty much everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
And so if yourself or your kid or whoever is interested, you can find them in the Triumph dealer to go and see them. And everything is also online for you to go and look at.
Great. Thank you. And if somebody wants to follow your racing, how do they do that?
So I'll either be I run my own riding gear company, which I'm currently dressed in.
Very smartly dressed.
Thank you. So you can either follow me on that, because I post that on more, and that's miro.products, MIRO.products, or my personal Instagram is o.smithy, which is o.smiffy.
You made it really easy. Smithy.
Yeah. So that's me. I post every so often, but it's the brand page that is the most active.
Great. Well, thank you very much. And I'll let you get back to showing off what the bikes can do.
Yeah. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
All right. So we are here at KTM booth at AimExpo.
We are indeed. And now look,
Emma?
I know you're determined to throw me under the bus, and that's not why I'm here.
We have an ongoing debate.
We'll call it ongoing. We're lucky. We're incredibly lucky. We have a charming gentleman with us, very handsome, I might add, called John Hintz.
Nice.
Or is it Hintz?
Unexpected. Nice.
I want to make sure that I get your surname right. Is it Hintz or
Heinz?
Heinz.
Fantastic.
Yeah. In Europe, Heinz. Here, Heinz.
So, John, would you tell everyone your title within KTM, please?
Yeah, sure. CEO and president of KTM North America.
Okay. So you made a declaration.
I make a lot of declarations.
News
some
has
of which
come out that we've been following about KTM and bankruptcy and unsure future. And Emma made the declaration that they're done. It's over. And
I've only met Emma for a short period of time, but I can imagine that happening.
And what I've really appreciated about KTM, they've been very transparent about what they're doing and the steps that are being taken, the problems, how they were caused, too much stock. But KTM has always had good sales. It always has value. It's got good bikes. I would like to hear from you the future of KTM. What do you, in your mind, can we expect from KTM in the future? Will it come through those?
Yeah, I think. But before I answer that question, and I'll come to that, I think it's important to make sure that we understand the situation.
Yeah.
So Emma mentioned bankruptcy. That's a big term and makes everyone kind of scared. And it's a nice headline grabber.
Yes.
For clicks and for attention. But actually what we're in is a restructuring, and it's a voluntary restructuring for our organization. So we actually elected to go into it. There's some Austrian laws that allow the process to happen. So it's a 90-day process. So it's a very short process. And when you think about the word restructuring or the term bankruptcy, that's a big scary term, but it's a very short process. So we said we want to be in. Our board of directors did, and so we voluntarily entered the restructuring. The company is still led by our management. That's part of the voluntary restructuring. So we're leading the organization. It's a public process, which is why you've seen and heard so much news around it. Our parent company is Pure Mobility AG, and you can go on the Pure Mobility AG website. You can go into the news section, and under ad hoc news, you'll see all the press releases that we put out around the organization, and that's where the facts are.
Right.
And there's a lot of fiction
I appreciate you clearing that up because people are making assumptions and jumping to conclusions. That's why we wanted to get the facts.
Yeah. So it's actually not a bankruptcy. It's just a restructuring.
Okay.
Short period of time. It's a public process and there's 3 different checkpoints. So we've gone through 2 of those checkpoints. There's an administrator that's put in place by the government in Austria, and there's public forums and hearings. In each of those checkpoints, they evaluate the restructuring process, make sure that we're doing exactly what we said we would do. The company is viable. We can continue with our own administration, and we passed 2 of those checkpoints. So the final one is actually the end of the restructuring, which is coming up in 20 days. So in 20 days,
Exciting times.
Yeah, it is. So in 20 days, the restructuring will be complete. We're expecting to have some additional cash brought into the company via investors.
Getting rid of MV Agusta.
Yep, we're going to restructure some of the debt load that we have. And
Not going to get rid of gas for Husqvarna, not expecting that?
Nope, not expecting that.
Okay.
So MV Agusta, we entered an agreement to sell our shares of MV Agusta back to our other shareholders and their investors. So that event has happened where we entered that agreement. It still has to go through a process in Europe. So there's a approval process for large scale transactions like that where it has to go through that process. So it's not finalized yet. And then we'll see how the business proceeds after that with the ownership and what they want to do, particularly here in North America. We've integrated our process and we've been supporting the business, of course, as a previous primary shareholder of the company. So we'll see if they want us to continue to help support MV Agusta and support that marquee brand as we move forward.
So now, are you confident that KTM has been making all the right steps and they've put themselves in a position to come through this possibly even stronger than ever?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's a
There it is.
Right from the horse. Well, no, because we are talking with the person who is absolutely qualified to make statements like that. And I want to say...
So Emma, I only oversee the North American operations, and KTM North America is actually not part of the restructuring, and that's important for your listeners to know.
Yes.
So our business has been operating as normal. We're selling motorcycles to our dealers. We're selling parts to our dealers. They're supporting and servicing our customers. We're supporting them with our business units.
I have a question where actually you might find a little easier. North America has always been a large market for all manufacturers, whether they're European, Japanese. What percentage of global sales of KTM go to North America? And you can include Canada, you can include Mexico, the whole...
Yep, that's currently our responsibility. So generally speaking, it's around 30% of the revenue and 30% of the global sales, like the unit sales, come from our dealers here and customers in North America. Yeah, absolutely. The U.S. is the single largest country. The European Union in total sells more motorcycles than the North America region. But in terms of country size, the U.S. is the largest single country.
Okay. Do we have dedicated models specifically for the U.S. market, or are we looking at global motorcycles now?
No, we absolutely have dedicated U.S. specific models. There's certain models that we can share globally, but emissions requirements and regulations, import regulations for each country are always a little bit different.
Right.
So today we sell a 50-state compliant motorcycle in the U.S., and Canada also recognizes that from an import and sale perspective. So we meet the highest emissions regulations, which is the state of California. EPA recognizes that, so does Canada. And from a off-road perspective, we have our own off-road market here where there's some very specific types of racing. So we have some U.S. owned developed models called cross-country models. And cross-country is primarily only raced here in U.S. and Canada, a little bit of sales in Australia, maybe U.K. and South Africa. But primarily that model range was designed and built specifically for our market here. On the motocross side, we actually have our own specification. So we have our own suspension settings. We have our own engine mappings. Some of the power characteristic of the motorcycle can be changed via the map or via the exhaust system, and so we'll adapt some of those things to the
If we zero
demands
in
of the
on
U.S. market.
if we zero in on those, which do you feel is the largest? Do you feel the motocross? Do you feel the adventure sector?
That's hard.
If we look at our market here,
Yes.
so we sell around 60% of the motorcycles are off-road, 40% are street
Yeah.
Okay.
here in the U.S. and Canada. The Mexican market is pretty different than that. In Mexico, around 90% of the motorcycles sold are street, maybe 10%
Right.
are off-road. So each country's different.
Right.
Each market is a little different. But when we look at the markets here, U.S. and Canada are really pretty similar. Europe tends to lean a little bit more to street.
Street. Yeah.
So they're probably the other way, probably about 60% street and 40% off-road. Just U.S. and Canada, there's more opportunities to ride off-road. There's a deep heritage and of off-road racing and motocross racing here. Supercross as a global spectacle is primarily located here in the United States. So the off-road market is still really vibrant and very strong here, which is a key category for our company and our brands.
And I think this is an ideal opportunity for you to talk about some new models that are coming out, which I'm sure you're excited about.
Yeah.
So here we are in this restructuring, but there are still new models
Lots
Yeah.
of new models.
and exciting.
Over the last 3 years, nearly every single street motorcycle that we have is a brand new generation motorcycle. We're just about to launch a complete new generation of 390 motorcycles for KTM. We have our new Adventure R. We have a brand new model called the Adventure X, which is a price point, little lower seat height, little different specification than the Adventure R. We've got a brand new 390 Supermoto. So it's a brand new entry-level supermoto category that we've never had before. We created a 390 Enduro R, so a specific built off-road motorcycle with that platform. Here at the show, we have our brand new 801s for Husqvarna. So we have a brand new twin cylinder for Husqvarna, the new Vitpillen and Svartpillen. So brand new category, brand new motorcycles for us. So a lot of new things that are happening, things we're excited about. We've got a brand new 990 street platform coming later this year for KTM.
That's interesting
Our
because
1390s for KTM as well. Those will be coming later in this year to North America. The Super Adventure R, Super Adventure S. And one of the things we're really proud of is this brand new electric motorcycle here.
The Free Ride, the new version.
Yeah, brand new version of Free Ride. The last one has been in production for over a decade, and this is the brand new version. It's street legal, so it gives our customers an opportunity to take it new places. They can ride on the street. It also qualifies for state incentives or federal incentives if they're available. And so we're really excited about the electric generation of motorcycles that are coming too.
Yeah.
And KTM were a very early adopter of the electric platform. As you said, the Free Ride's been around for a decade.
Yeah, the first major manufacturer to bring like a mass-developed electric motorcycle to market.
Emma.
Yes.
Do you have something to say now that you've heard it straight from John? Do you have something to say?
Deeply sorry, John, and I truly repent. And as I said to you, my only basis was having many, many friends who worked at Jaguar in the late 70s. And they went through a restructuring because British Leyland really didn't know what to do with them. And it was ugly and it got really, really bad. And in the end, they came out very, very well. But there was a period of time from the late 70s really until the late 90s when Ford really took hold and started taking an interest in them, that it was not a good time for Jaguar or the people who worked with them. And my experience was based on that. But actually having somebody like yourself who's actually really got the facts, it's really opened my eyes. So thank you.
Thank you very much. And what do you have to say to me?
I'm saying nothing to you because, this is how we work together. But I'm
This
always
sounds like a fun podcast.
Well, we try and give good value for our listeners. I think a lot of the times they tune in because myself and Liza disagree on so many things.
Well, I'm sure they enjoy it. I appreciate the opportunity to talk to your listeners, to tell you what's happening with our company.
Yeah.
we're really fortunate. We've been able to support our dealers, support our customers, continue through the restructuring to be able to do that. And we're definitely going to be a stronger company when we come through this.
I appreciate that.
I know
Yeah.
that back home in Austria, there is a great deal of pride associated with KTM, with this global brand
Yeah, absolutely.
that comes out of this little country south of Germany.
Yeah.
That's really, yeah, I know.
No,
There's
it's
a,
All right.
phenomenal company, phenomenal brand. And thanks for the chance to talk to your listeners. I hope they
there
enjoyed
you
it.
go. KTM is not going anywhere. I said it. I've said it all along.
well, I suppose you want me to buy you something now, don't you?
Thank you very much. Listeners, go buy KTMs. It's still one of the best bikes you can get.
Thank you.
So, Emma, do you think that gaskets are interesting?
I've always loved gaskets, you know that.
Right. So, it's one of those things I like to find the products that people don't really think about that might have some interesting technology or an evolution over the years. So I went over and talked to our friends at Cometic Gaskets and found
Do
out
they
some
have
cool
any
stuff.
Kellogg's cornflake packets?
Well, he's got something to say about his favorite cereal box. All right, tell me who you are and who you are with.
My name is Jason Moses. I work with Cometic Gasket. I've been there for 24 years and have helped develop the Harley line. And we make gaskets for pretty much anything that goes fast.
So one of the things I do here at AimExpo is I try and find the stories,
Sure.
the interesting things. And a lot of people don't really think about things like gaskets, why they care about that, what the technology is, how the industry has changed over the years. So I'm wondering if you can kind of tell me, Cometic Gaskets, how much has it changed over the years? We were talking yesterday, like they used to use copper, I think.
Sure. Yeah. Back in the old days, you had just very limited fiber type materials, or you're using copper. A lot of it's come a long way as far as just the elastomers that are used, like in the fibers. So you're not buying just like the gasket's not made just out of a general fiber, like out of a cereal box. Now the stuff it's integrated, it's blended with all kinds of different elastomer rubber materials that actually holds the gasket together, makes it fuel resistant, makes it oil resistant, allows the gasket to seal an engine case, cover, and it doesn't wick. So that's one thing. And then also, copper back in the day, was widely used for head gaskets.
Mm-hmm.
It did a fairly good job, for what was available at the time. If you're running a high compression engine, you would have to O-ring the cylinder and or the head, and put a receiver groove in there. And then you'd run your copper, and when you would torque it down, it would crush over that O-ring and kind of create a seal. But the problem with the copper is it's kind of a dead material. It doesn't really move. So what happens is the more you run the engine, you work hard in the copper, it loses its elasticity and then it leaks. It'll not combustion so much, but it'll leak, any kind of coolant, or oil, any kind of liquids. So what we've come up with is our multi-layer steel head gaskets. And you're talking about, anywhere between 3 to 5 layers of, stainless steel. So, it's an active, material. The stainless it has memory. So it actually moves with the head. And then also the nice thing with doing a 3-layer, a 4-layer, or a 5-layer head gasket is tunability. So if you need to lose compression, you can go with a thicker head gasket, and we can adjust that with the layers.
Oh, interesting.
And then same thing, if you want to gain compression, we can go thinner, and we can use thinner layers or less layers. And then you can gain compression, set up quench, things of that nature, or just offer more longevity for the cylinder or the head. Let somebody cut too much off of a head or a cylinder just to clean it up, just to make it straight again. We can go back in there and we can go as thick as 140 thou thick head gasket.
So we're looking at some of these kits here that you have. So you can order a whole kit when you're doing some. Let's say somebody's doing a simple job changing out a clutch. Because anyone can do that, right?
Right.
So when they're shopping for their gasket, most people aren't going to the dealers anymore. They're going online. Why should they not look for the cheapest? What should they look for? And what is the difference between like the cheapest gasket and maybe something you guys are selling that's a little bit better?
Well, really what it comes down to is it's just like anything else that's out there. You get what you pay for. So if you buy something that is inferior, I'm not even going to say cheaper, I'm just going to say an inferior material,
Would just be like a fiber.
Yeah, like a fiber, type of a gasket, or a lot of times like a fiber type that has like a silicone bead on there. Silicone is great for lubrication in my opinion, but not really great for sealing. A lot of times, if you get a fiber gasket that has a silicone bead on it, it'll actually allow the gasket, or it'll help the gasket slide out easier because it acts like a lubricant, so it'll slide out. Whereas if you use like our types of material, we do have fiber, but it's a better grade of fiber. We recommend zero sealers, nothing on there. You heat cycle it, and because of the elastomers that are in the fiber, it will actually bond to both sides of the engine cases and create a seal. And then we also have other materials, going back to, the early days versus, today's technology. A lot of our engine case cover gaskets are aluminum. They have an aluminum core, and then they have an open cell nitrile fiber that is rubber that is bonded to both sides of it. So it's not going to wick. You don't need to use any sealers. It's very compressible. So if you have an older bike where, guys have pried the cover off, or it's a little less than perfect, the AFM material is going to seal that up. And then the beauty of that on the back side of it, if you ever have to take that engine apart or pull that, let's say you're, guys at a racetrack, he's doing a lot of clutch work, for the track. So the cover's on and off all the time. The nice thing is with the AFM material, you can pull that clutch cover off. It's not going to fall apart. There's no scraping. You just peel it off.
Yeah.
Tune your clutch, put it back together.
So this is something you had pointed out to me yesterday. Scottie, you may notice this. I was asking about like how it's evolved or changed over the years. And how do you describe this ridge again?
Well, it's an embossment.
An embossment. So I'm looking at a flat, basically a flat gasket, but it's got a raised ridge around the sealing points that's embossed. And you said this has a memory?
Yes.
So basically it gets compressed, this raised part, but then it has a memory, which is really cool. So you're able to use a very thin material and emboss it rather than use a thicker material that needs to be compressed, that then is forever compressed.
Right. Well, what happens basically is if you think of the head gasket as a spring, we build the head gasket like a spring, and we use the appropriate thickness materials to give you the best spring. So if you go too thick, it's not going to be reactive. It's going to be sluggish and slow. And if you use too thin of a material, the embossment won't last in it because of cylinder head lift, which is naturally occurring in every internal combustion engine. Your head bolts are made to stretch. So when the engine's running, the head is actually like a jackhammer. It just hammers the gasket and whatnot and the cylinder. So you have to find that happy medium to where the head gasket will follow the maximum lift of the head, maintain the seal. Whereas if you use the wrong material, it won't do that. And once you blow hot compression against, out of the cylinder, it's game over. It'll just fly in the end, and that's what blows the head gasket out.
It sounds a bit similar to like a Belleville washer. Is it something like that?
I'm sorry?
Like a Belleville washer? Like a spring washer?
It's something like that. But not quite exactly. But basically, like I say, we just build that into the gasket. All the layers are embossed. And then, like I say, it just follows the movement of the head. So
as one of the leaders in your industry, the name has been around a long time.
Thank you.
What is your stance on using Kellogg's cornflake boxes as a substitute gasket material? Because as many of our listeners know, Emma swears by it.
Loves it.
Yeah. I mean, if it's a last resort or something like that, I mean, if it's a difference between getting home and not getting home, I guess that's okay.
Is there another cereal box you prefer?
Oh, well, probably maybe Count Chocula, is the best. But
pro tip, you heard it here first.
So here's a question I want to ask somebody who works in the industry. When somebody who's maybe the first time rebuilding an engine or working on their bike, one of the hardest things to do is to remove the old gasket. What are some of the tricks? What are the best tools for doing this?
Well, anytime when you're removing a gasket material, obviously you want to be ginger. You want to remove the material without destroying, the sealing surfaces. Typically, guys will use like a plastic scraper or a razor blade. You could pretty much use anything you want, but just keeping in mind that you want to keep the surface integrity, of both sealing surfaces. Not only do you not want to nick it, but you don't want to just create an uneven surface or just a surface that is full of, nicks and whatnot. And that's another good point too. When you're using a multi-layer steel head gasket, we do require a 50 RA surface finish for that to seal. So basically what that means is it just has to be smooth enough to where the gasket can lay on there and you don't have peaks and valleys that are so high and low that fluids can migrate, through those valleys. So when you're using any MLS head gasket, regardless of the manufacturer, that is one critical point. A 50 RA surface finish is paramount.
And MLS stands for?
Multi-layer steel.
Now, I had asked you this question yesterday and asked you not to answer, so I don't know the answer yet. But my question for you, for Cometic Gaskets, what is it that your company does better than anybody else?
I think what our company does better than anybody else is we actually make the gasket that the customer wants. We don't make necessarily what's easy for us to make. Whatever the customer needs, like he can call up and if he wants to change the bore size or a bolt hole or thickness or different materials, we listen to the customer and we actually make what they want. And typically we can do that for a shelf, stock price. So it's not like there's any upcharges. The minimum order quantity is 1 in most cases, unless it requires tooling or something like that. But 98% of the time we can make exactly what the customer wants for, like I say, a shelf part, shelf stock part, price. So, yeah.
Wow. So if you're Frankensteining something together,
Right.
they can call you. So here's what I got. Can you make me some?
Sure. Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
It's very cool.
So where do people find out more about Cometic Gaskets?
They can call us directly or on our 800 number. They can find us, on our website, cometicgasket.com. We're available through all the normal channels. So,
Well, thank you very much. I appreciate it.
thank you.
So one of the bike brands that I was kind of really intrigued by here was the Moto Morini.
Yes.
They were pretty cool.
A long history. That name goes back a long way. And one of my crushes in the 70s was a Moto Morini 3.5. And I think a lot of us just love those little bikes. They're just so charming. Barry has shown up to the Recycle Garage many times on his 3.5. So it's exciting seeing the name come back. Is it real? Is it just a knockoff from a Chinese owner? We're going to tell you.
Well, the cool thing, Unky Phil and I, our friends from Cleveland Meadow, we went to go talk to Chris McGee over at Moto Morini and learn more about the bikes. But here's the thing. We forgot to even mention who Chris McGee is, which kind of blew my mind.
That surname sounds familiar.
It does. It's Mary McGee's son.
What?
Yeah. Mary McGee, the amazing female rider who first person, not first woman, first person to do the Baja 1000 solo. First person. Amazing rider. And his dad was also really cool. I think he said he invented the Scott's goggles.
And he worked at Honda
And worked
North
at
America
Honda,
for quite some time.
And now continuing the lineage in the family, and he works for Moto Morini. Pretty cool. Tell me who you are.
Hi, Liza. I'm Phil from Cleveland Moto. Hey,
Phil.
how you doing, buddy?
So we're here at AimExpo,
Yes, in Las Vegas, Nevada.
and we're at a certain booth.
We are. And it's taken a couple of years for me to get in this booth and really, really crawl all over this stuff and check it out. And we're in the Moto Morini booth.
This is a name not a lot of people are talking about.
Right.
A lot of people may not know Moto Morini was a brand that disappeared, is now back.
Yeah.
It's all new. Everything is new. We are looking at all new bikes.
And we're looking at a really, really old, as I said, Art Deco earlier, right? So I was able to come in today and meet Chris.
Hello, Chris.
Hello, Liza. Thanks for coming.
And who are you with Moto Morini?
I'm Chris McGee. I'm the COO of Moto Morini Motorcycles. Thanks for joining us in our booth here at AimExpo in Las Vegas.
Yeah, you got some good looking bikes. Now,
Thank you.
we both on our shows have had long talks for many years about the state of Chinese motorcycles, and the level has been coming up and up and up. And Phil, you're one of the people that I look to who really tests and will only sell the bikes that you truly believe
Yeah,
in.
we will not put anything in the hands of our customers until we've ridden it a lot. And we really do test the bikes really tough. And for us, it was always, there was a hard no 20 some years ago. I was like, no, I'm not going to do that. I'm never going to do a Chinese product out of my store.
Right.
But everything's come up. And I always joke, I always say, like, remember when in the 60s, Japanese products weren't trusted? And now we have Honda and Yamaha and the best in the world. And that took some years to get there, right?
So, Chris, tell us real quick about this version of Moto Morini. How long has it been around?
Sure. Well, Moto Morini, legacy Italian brand, founded in 1937. So not a great year to start a business in Italy, but Moto Morini has been a real consistent player within the global market since then. The brand has gone through different incarnations, different ownership groups, much like many brands you see here today. Ducati owned Moto Morini at one point. The family bought it back at one point. It sold again in 2017. However, Moto Morini consistently has really been a global leader. Now, here in North America, in the U.S., it's not part of the vernacular as some other fine Italian brands.
Right.
Moto Morini was never brought into the U.S. as a factory effort. Between kind of 65 to kind of late 70s, there were a couple of different private importers that brought the brand in. They're bringing in a couple of containers, a couple of models, tried to resell them with no support, etc. Didn't go well. So Moto Morini, true, not that well known here in the U.S., but still a real globally recognized brand. So now with a new ownership group, and from 2017, we are able to bring this Italian mainstay, this fine legacy brand that brings all the rich history of Italian motorcycling to the U.S.
Other than the name, how Italian is it?
It's really Italian.
It's really Italian.
It's Benvenite Italiano, okay? Italia del 1937. Every Moto Morini is designed, engineered, developed in Milan. So our European headquarters is in Milano. Our U.S. headquarters is in Irvine, California, another hub of motorcycling in Southern California. But our European headquarters includes our global R&D center. So we do all of our designing there. Of course, CAD. We do clay modeling. We do 3D printing. Everything is really done there in Milan. I love to say that Ferrari's down the street and Gucci's up the street. So we have this fine design influence coming out of Milan. And everything is developed right there in Milan.
So it's Chinese in ownership, but everything is coming out of. So would you feel, is this an Italian bike?
It's an Italian bike. And the thing is, when we talk about some of their premier stuff, that 1200cc motor, that's an object of art in and of itself. And it's an amazing, immense power. I mean, that is a triumph of power. That thing's a crazy cool bike. They're 750. These motors are brilliant. They're fantastic machines. And these are not cookie cutter motors. Like, this stuff's beautiful, and it really is. And a lot of that stuff is their product. That's a Morini thing. That's not off the shelf.
Would you say this is a fair statement? This is an Italian company with Chinese prices.
Well, that's where, as a dealer, I have to tell you, I love what I do, but I have to pay the bills. And I need a margin. I need to be able to have a product that can give me the parts and the support. And when I look at their bikes and I see how much Brembo is on them, and I see how much their component level of the bikes is higher than anybody else out there, and I can do it, and I can have the romance and the history and all that stuff that I really love, and it's part of my motorcycling experience. And then to be able to have that with a product I can actually sell to a customer and support, that's everything, man. That is the whole deal. And to me, that gets my attention. And being able to have a range that goes from 350 cc's up to 1200 cc's also means that it's not a one-trick pony. Like, here's your 600 cc bike. How do you like it?
Right.
Here's our parallel twin, and you can have it 7 different ways, but it's still one motor.
Yeah, I'm seeing a range of bikes here. We're standing right next to the Escape 700, which I'm just going to say reminds me a lot of the Tenere 700.
Right.
A rival to that. Yeah. What do we got over here? The GT?
Cosaro GT.
This
Our
looks-
new 750.
This reminds me almost like a Ducati, or what would you say it's closer to?
I think that these machines, all of this, what they're doing, I love the V-twin motor configuration. So I'm a fool for torque. And when I see the more V-twins I see in a lineup, the happier I'm going to be, because I know my customers are going to get that seat of the pants grunt feeling. And I love that. I think that that's really something that differentiates them from so many other manufacturers.
Moto Morini is really known for that innovation, that quality, that craftsmanship, and that Italian design. Yes, our since 2017, we're owned by the Zenin Group, which is one of the largest two-wheel manufacturers in China. Decades of experience in manufacturing, and the being able to have a motorcycle that is designed in Italy, spec'd using the best components from around the world, and entrusted to tier 1, fully automated, near clean room manufacturing that we control in our own proprietary factory. We're able to deliver that Italian spec bike with that Italian vibe, feel, lineage, history, at a high level of quality, at a tremendous price, and at great margins for our dealer partners.
Yeah, we're just, again, I was talking
I'm
about
crawling over these bikes and I'm looking at every weld, and I was checking out every manufacturing point. I'm looking at the way they've got their side stands set up, their mounting points, and everything's well thought out, extremely well set up. And it is definitely not built for anything other than to be here for a very long time.
Yeah, this X Cape 700, it's got a suggested retail $7,999.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
I want to see, what bike are you most excited about?
So actually, it's funny because their sport that isn't here, the bike that I was like, oh, I really want to get my leg over it, it's not here, but they have a Sport 3.5. That's the bike that, as a kid, we knew about the 3.5. Like, we knew about that little bike.
Yeah.
And that was something that I was always like, yeah. And I go to AMA Vintage Days every year, and I've always been like, oh, I see one, I'm going to go try to buy it off the guy. Nice. And of course, never happened, right? So maybe I had to wait till I was 55 years old to do that. But that's a bike that I'm super excited in. And they do a base platform that you can do as a cruiser, or you can do it as a standard. And a lot of their stuff, their paint quality, their fit and finish is just fantastic. It's beautiful. The workmanship is really, really nice on these bikes. I'm very impressed. The more that I sit on them, the more I hang around them. And it's also people that I trust. So people that I've trusted in my history of the dealership, 25 years, they're working for this company. So that's impressive to me, that he's got the right people in the ship.
Are you willing to make an announcement right now?
Well, yeah, we were supposed to save this. I was supposed to play hardball, Liza.
Okay.
I was supposed to be twist my arm a little bit. I think Cleveland Moto is going to be the new home of Moto Morini in Cleveland. And I think just like what we did with Moto Guzzi, I think we're going to be able to do the same thing with Moto Morini. It's going to be something we love, and it's going to be something that you'll be seeing me riding it, which is always a great sign. And that's a big deal for me.
It's a big deal for everyone, because you do your research. And like, I bought a Benelli from you because Unky Phil said these are good, fun little bikes.
Well, this is the biggest news for me. This is fantastic. What an exciting day.
It's pretty fun. We enjoy people that we like.
Well,
we enjoy spending time with them. And it really is. It's a great thing. And being able to meet you today was a big part of it.
Wow, this has been fantastic. Why we come to AIM? This is great. At Moto Morini, we're looking for those partners that we can invest in for a sustainable long-term future. We want the dealers that not only understand and grab the vibe of the brand, that can communicate that out to their customer, but this is Cleveland Moto is exactly the type of dealer that we look for, that long-standing member of the community that understands their customers, that knows that our diverse portfolio is going to speak to them. So it's just wonderful, exciting news.
We listen to Unky Phil.
And that's what we listen to Moto Morini. That's how you learn. You learn by listening.
Yeah,
what does the dealer needs?
It is. And so it was great. And I've got to catch up with Liza now, because we haven't seen each other in a minute. And I want to show her some of these bikes.
Well, great.
Really get her to sit on some stuff.
I'm excited that you both took time out of your day. I'm excited about Cleveland Moto coming on board.
Really
Liza,
appreciate
it's such a pleasure to talk with you. Thanks for spending some time here at the Moto Morini booth at AIM.
Yeah. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Very cool. Thanks, Chris.
Jim, we got to talk to a really cool tool company that we found out was actually started in our little village of Santa Cruz.
Right? Like 30 years ago.
Yeah, like the name wasn't a giveaway.
Well, we aren't that smart.
Right.
Neither was I.
And they make some really cool stuff. And it's really nicely curated for the vast majority of the stuff that we do, which is cool.
Yeah, and if you like to carry a toolkit with you, whether it's on the street or in the dirt, and I think a lot of us carry tools with us in the dirt, it's always a challenge. Like, you're afraid you're not going to bring what you need, or you're going to bring too much stuff. And I know me, I always bring too much stuff. But they've put these kits together that can be bike specific, brand specific, and they've really thought through what you need for tools on your bike. And again, there's people that ride, and I thought one of the interesting things we'll talk about, they don't only think about the tools you need for your stock bike, but maybe you put some accessories on, and you might want to have some of those tools handy.
For my Farkles.
Farkle tools.
Farkle tools. All right.
Yeah.
Hi. We're here at Cruz Tools with,
Matt Wilson.
and your role here at Cruz Tools?
I do the product development and do all the daily operations here.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for joining us. Can you tell us a little bit about what Cruz Tools is?
Sure. Yeah, we make and model specific toolkits for motorcycles and power sports. And so these kits have been thought out as far as what fasteners the bike has and what you need to do when you're on the road or the trail. And so we include only the tools that you need and none of the extra stuff. So that keeps the weight and the pack size down, and it's just easy to use tools, easy to find in their slots.
You know, I'm checking out a lot of the tools, and Jim here, and it's cool. I really like the way they're set up, and I noticed you got your own name on a lot of them.
Mhm.
So, who manufactures the tools? What's the quality like?
We manufacture the tools. We have facilities in the U.S., internationally, and so everything is our brand. It's our quality control, our design. The quality is very good. We like to say it's professional grade at consumer grade prices. Everything has a lifetime warranty. So if you do happen to break a screwdriver tip or something, or if you're neglectful with a socket and break it, call us up and we just send you a new one. So we're a small company. We're easy to deal with, based out of Seattle.
Okay.
And so, yeah, we take care of everybody, but it's very high quality stuff. We don't want anybody to break a wrench on the side of the road, with a broken down bike.
Because I've had something similar. I've bought some lightweight tools, and they were great until I really needed them to work. And, the wrenches don't quite work properly, or they bend a little bit, and that whole thing. So, because the lightweightness, it seems like, is something you've focused on.
Yeah. But we would never want to sacrifice any of the weight for durability, because again, like, you got to rely on these. And so, we're all riders and we're all mechanics. Like, this is all from experience. And so we're real careful with kind of what's going in the kit.
Can you tell us a little bit more about what makes these things make and model specific? Because a lot of us just think of, hey, yeah, it's some wrenches, whatever. They're all basically, I got a set of wrenches, I'm set.
Yeah. So, like, for instance, we're standing by a BMW specific toolkit, and BMW uses a lot of different Torx fasteners. They have front axles that require a special hex adapter to get the axle out. And they have a European style set of fasteners, but then they also throw in a 12 millimeter, like a Japanese bike. And so they require a lot of different tools. Here's hex for all the aftermarket stuff you put on a BMW, which everybody does. An oversized axle wrench for the 850s. And so, every time a new bike comes out, we'll sit down with it. We'll start looking at what you might need to access on the road, what things might happen, what tools it requires. And, we make a list, and then we start assembling a toolkit.
I noticed there's one specific tool in here, and this is included in most of your toolkits for BMW, Indian, Harley, even some dirt bike things.
Yeah.
There's a pair of vice grips.
Yep.
Can you tell us about the story? Why
what
this
was the backroom
special
conversation?
tool is included in so many of these kits?
There's not much you can't fix with a set of vice grips or locking pliers. And I've been trail riding where I've broken a lever or a shifter. And, I've had to clamp that on and use it as a lever or shifter. And so, like, that, along with I love this part of the kits is the duct tape, baling wire, vice grips, and zip ties.
Because there literally is duct tape and baling wire and zip ties in this BMW specific toolkit.
Yep, every kit, because if all else fails, like, you can fix so much stuff with that. So that's kind of a standard in our kits.
So looking at this kit, it can basically do anything you need on your BMW for the most part. How much does this weigh?
So this is like a full touring roll. So this will be like the biggest kit we make, and it's somewhere between 3.5 and 4 pounds.
Yeah, so it's not much at all.
No, in the past when I've made my own kits, and I kind of go overkill, that I put way too many tools in, and they're way heavier than this.
Yeah. Actually, speaking of making your own toolkits, can you tell us a little bit about this little tiny package over here?
Yeah.
So for listeners, this thing is about 2 inches by 2 inches by 6 inches. It is a small package.
So this is a pouch that we use a lot for compact kits, and typically we would put something like a underseat kit to replace an OEM on like a street bike or something.
And this, I'm sorry to interrupt, this pouch is tiny, right? You can't see it, but it's maybe 10 inches long by a couple inches wide.
Mm-hmm.
It is very small. It's like a giant cigar size.
I could comfortably put this in my jacket pocket and forget about it.
And forget about it. Yeah. Very small.
So I'm a dirt biker primarily, and so all these touring kits are great. But when I'm unloading my bike out of the truck and just taking it up into trails for the day, I just want enough to get back to the truck. You know, I don't need to maintain the bike while I'm out there doing anything crazy. And so I started to put together this kit for KTM dirt bikes, which is a collapsible T-handle. This is my favorite part of it.
I was checking that out. Totally caught my eye.
Collapsible T-handle, 1/4-inch drive with a sliding handle on it for extra torque, and then a whole bunch of bits and sockets to go with it, and full-size spanners, pliers. The nice thing about this versus other options for dirt bikers is that these are all full-size hand tools that you would use in your garage. And so when you're on the side of the trail, you're working with stuff that's really easy to work with, gives you the right amount of torque, as opposed to like a multi-tool that is compact and handy, but they're harder to use, and you're not as likely to fix what you need. So this is a very complete kit for the fast and light dirt bike crowd. And we make it in a KTM Husqvarna, and we make it in a Honda, Yamaha, Kawasaki, Suzuki version, which has a very specific set of fasteners.
So I'm just kind of curious. I'm picturing you guys, and what I love about the way you've designed this is your riders, and from experience what works and what to carry and what not. And you have everything from breaker bars into some kits to these tiny little pieces. Do you guys kind of revisit the kits every now and then and be like, hey, let's maybe add this or pull that out?
Yeah, absolutely. Bikes change. So for instance, like if KTM updates their bikes in 2023, then we might need to throw a different Torx key in here. BMW switches to a 34 millimeter axle nut from always using a 24, then, we have to tool up a new axle wrench, so, we're constantly, not only just feedback from customer, but our own research where we're updating them on the fly. We're a small company and we're flexible. And so we have the ability to kind of just go with the flow.
Yes, and having it all nicely packaged in these cool little tool rails or these little sort of, what do you call this, like a little folder?
Yeah.
Is so convenient because you can just grab it and toss it in.
Yeah.
Yep. And Scottie and I are here at the booth. So we're looking at these tool rolls, and they range in size literally to something you could put in your pocket and forget about, like Scottie said, to the larger kind of BMW. But I'll say that the quote larger roll for the BMW is about the size of the roll I carry for my 450 dirt bike. Because you're so afraid you're not going to have that one tool.
But and to that point, though, it'd be so nice to have something in a smaller package that still carries the vast majority of what you need to get back to the truck.
And I like that it's a small company of people that ride. It's not a big giant thing. Let's throw together this little multi-tool thing that looks good. We'll sell it on Instagram and we'll make $1 million. I feel like because you guys develop it and you use it, there's something to believe in.
Yep.
Yeah. And especially because these are legit full-size, normal, high-quality hand tools, not kind of stamped out cheap-ass stuff that barely kind of almost fits on your fastener.
Right.
And you've also got a very large toolkit here that doesn't even look like it's for a motorcycle.
Yeah. So we've been making motorcycle kits for 30 years, and that's our bread and butter. But we also do OEM kits. And so the manufacturer like Polaris, we make kits for them. And recently we just made a full UTV tool roll for their razors and general side-by-sides. And that's sold as a Polaris item through them. But that was a whole new learning process because being motorcyclists, everything's 1/4-inch drive, everything's low torque.
Yeah.
And now all of a sudden we're having to make tools with breaker bars and extensions to do 120 foot-pounds of torque on a lug nut and 30 millimeter axle nuts. And so that was a fun one. It was a totally different roll, totally different format, but a very cool product. And also it's kind of the same ideology of all these other kits of it's just the stuff you need and it's all prepackaged. So you don't even have to think about it. You just kind of throw it in the back of the UTV and go.
Grab and go. So can I take a look? So this is a Honda.
Yeah.
This is the small Honda toolkit. Again, it fits easily in my hand. And I just open it up. We've got a selection of sockets, it looks like.
Sockets, hex bits, adapters, and that all goes with that T-handle.
Yeah. So there's looks like about 10 pieces of those. We got a pair of nice needle nose pliers, and the fit and finish on the tools really looks clean. I mean, it really looks good. And then we've got some zip ties that we all carry, and we got some spanners, really nice. And I'm telling you, the T-handle hex tool, is that what this is
Yeah,
here?
so this is a little tiny quarter-inch
you see
T-handle
these.
sliding tool with what's called sometimes a Tommy bar and about a 6-inch extension.
Yep. Yeah, and really, just really well made. I mean, the tolerances seem really good. And I like what you touched on. You know, when I first started doing this stuff and wrenching on bikes, I was breaking things left and right. And as soon as I went to a 1/4-inch drive, that all stopped.
Yeah.
So it's nice, and also reduces the size, I guess, too, the smaller sockets. But so yeah, I could just grab this and go, and I'm ready to rock and roll. And this has to be a third of the size of what I carry currently.
Yeah, when I so I started out, because I ride a KTM dirt bike. I have lots of different bikes, but my dirt bike is a KTM, and so I started out developing the KTM version of this. And then, I liked it so much, it was so good that it's like, well, we got to make one for all the other bikes. And so I spent a lot of time at Honda dealerships, Yamaha, Kawasaki, and Suzuki, and I sized up everything from like DR650, DRZ 400, clear down to like YZ 125s. And so it really is good for everything from a 2-stroke, small displacement motocross bike all on up to a 600cc.
So you had to have had some of these moments. And what I'm thinking of is either do I really need this tool or not? Or backroom ones like, no, we need this. No, we don't.
Yeah.
Do you have any examples of things where it was really on the fence whether to include or not?
Yeah, I mean, there's always like, for instance, with the BMW kit for the long time until BMW changed their oil drain plug, I think there wasn't a big enough key or something to get to the drain plug to change your oil, or there was something to do with the valves. And, every once in a while you get some, well, why can't I change my oil with this kit? And, we always have to go back to our motto, where this is like a roadside kit for things that you would do on in the middle of a trip. Of course, like when I've been on a trip that's long enough where I need to change my oil, then of course I bring that stuff, but that's a whole other thing. Most people are going to go out for a week and want to have the tools they need to fix a situation, but it's not necessarily a maintenance kit.
Yeah, I think that's the interesting niche, is that it isn't a full maintenance kit for your home shop. This is what you need when you're out on the road and something gnarly happens.
Yeah.
And again, I think the build quality, if that's the right word, really looks solid. It's not some Chinesium stuff that when you're, because we've all broken down either in the middle of nowhere or by ourselves, and you're like, that's when you need your stuff to work.
Oh
right?
my God, that happened to me in Mongolia with the 11 millimeter that was actually 12.
Yeah. Yep. Been there.
And I noticed, but you've only got, it looks like tire changing tools in a couple of packs, or
yeah, this one is kind of unique. This is more of a universal. It's made to go on a rear fender of a dual sport or a motocross enduro bike. So it comes with a fender mount that it goes onto with straps and a rain cover. And this is kind of like a starting point for your dirt bike. And so this is like a bigger version. This is really popular for like ATVs.
Okay.
For larger displacement dual sports. But it does come with tire irons and just a basic set of wrenches and sockets and a T-handle, but it has all this room for expansion. So,
right, okay.
Before this switchback kit, this compact one came out, this is what I was running on like a bigger dual sport, but I was adding a lot of stuff to it to make it work for a KTM.
Okay.
So
yeah. Oh, and then, but the other thing I think that shows that they're riders is they actually had in tools to put on aftermarket parts, because you got your BMW toolkit, but you're going to be doing your thing to it.
There's a bunch of hex keys in the BMW kit that aren't for BMW parts.
Yeah. But you thought ahead on that, so I thought that was cool.
For sure.
Thank you so much, Matt. I really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks, Matt. Pleasure meeting you. Appreciate it. And Cruz Tools, we're from Santa Cruz.
Yeah.
Awesome.
California, so
no relation.
No, that's where it started.
In Santa Cruz.
Yeah, that's where the Cruz Tools came from.
You're kidding. Do you happen to know who are the roots or any of that kind of stuff?
A gentleman named Dan Parks started the company about 30 years ago.
No kidding.
He was a Harley rider, and he realized nobody was making toolkits specific for bikes. And so he made his own, and then kind of went from there, and he named it Cruz Tools because
it's brilliant. I love it. I'll bring you some stickers a little later.
Yeah, awesome.
Yeah. Right
Sounds
on.
good.
Well, thanks.
Homebrew company. Thank you again.
If there's one thing I love, it's
peanut butter and jelly?
It's peanut butter and jelly in lube form. And one thing I learned today is that it doesn't stand for peanut butter and jelly. Yeah, I was kind of disappointed.
Me too, because it
Yeah.
tastes a lot like peanut butter and jelly.
Well,
PSP.
it's that eau de garage.
What are you guys talking about?
Sorry, we got the chance to chat with the dudes at Blaster. It's just called Blaster.
We were very confused.
Yeah, we had a whole thing
It's
about
been
it.
Blaster since 1957, but I think people have been calling it PB Blaster also since 1957.
Probably like 1957 and a half. Yeah, but they've got a whole bunch of really cool stuff that's absolutely pertinent to the kinds of projects that we are working on right now. Hey, this is Scottie, and we were walking down the row here at AimExpo, and we saw this booth of things that say Blaster, and we started arguing. I thought it was PB Blaster. It's just Blaster. What is it? What's the PB stand for? It's definitely peanut butter and jelly, right? And we stopped and got to talk with Ted here from Blaster.
Hi, how are you?
I'm doing great.
Great.
So, can you tell us a little bit about what is it PB Blaster? Is it Blaster? And then
So Blaster is the brand. Blaster is the brand. This is the flagship product. This is PB Blaster. It's a rust penetrant for loosening rusty nuts and bolts. We're here today to promote our 6 new power products, which are chain products, filter products. We've got a mud blaster and a factory shine that restores the finish of plastics and makes the bike and the garage smell great for days. So we've got a whole host of legacy products between Gunk, Liquid Wrench, Tight Seal, Blaster, and we have Metal Rescue too, which Metal Rescue is a non-acidic rust remover.
let's get back to that in a second. You said
Sure.
legacy products.
Yes.
This stuff has been around since forever, right?
Yes.
How long has this stuff been around? Where
It's-
did it come from?
It's been around since 1957. And in 1957, a guy called William Wesley, who we refer to him as a bathroom chemist, formulated the formulation in his bathtub, put it in a mason jar, and took it to his mechanic buddy and said, hey, try this and tell me if you like it. I'll come back in a week. He came back in a week and he said, I want some more of that stuff.
All good stuff comes in a mason jar.
Yeah, mason jar out of somebody's bathtub.
Yeah.
So-
Did you mean try this as in drink it or try this on your...
Try this on your rusty fasteners.
Gotcha.
And it was in Florida in phosphorus mines where the rust runs rampant. We're from Cleveland, Ohio. It's the Rust Belt. We call ourselves Rust Belt Warriors. We know rust. We know how to penetrate rust. We know how to remove rust, and we know how to protect from rust. And we've got products that do all of that.
Oh, super cool.
What does PB stand
What does
for?
PB stand for?
So PB stands for petroleum base, and it is it could be peanut butter, it could be Pro Blaster, it could be penetrating blaster. So
And it doesn't matter as long as we're thinking about you.
Yeah. So you ask a lot of people, you know Blaster? No, I don't. Never heard of Blaster. You know PB Blaster? Oh yeah, I know PB Blaster. So the brand is Blaster. PB Blaster is you could
One
say it's
specific
one
product.
specific product,
Okay.
and it's the penetrant. Now, penetrant is different than lubricants. You know, lubricants are made to work in between two working surfaces. Penetrants go below the surfaces. They creep. They work and get in between the threads of nuts and bolts. The reason why a penetrant is so important to a mechanic is because they're charging by the hour, and this stuff creeps in between those threads faster than any of the competitions.
Yeah,
that's
that's-
what makes it so great.
Yeah, you were mentioning a moment ago, that's one of the really cool things. So for a pro mechanic, of course, charging by the hour.
That's right.
For a home mechanic, that's super important because if I strip a nut or bust a bolt or something
Right.
In the home shop,
That's right.
it kind of stops progress.
It stops progress, and you want to get the project done. You want to maintenance your car as time goes on, and we have economic issues where you can't get a new car, or maybe you can't afford a new car, and you want to make your investments last. And
Mhm.
that's what these products do. They are automotive maintenance repair chemicals.
Yeah, very cool.
If at first you PB blast and it doesn't work, do you PB blast again?
Yes.
Is that
So you would if you have a rusted fastener that's been there for years and years and years, you would spray this on, let it soak, put a little bit of torque on the bolt. No, spray it again, let it sit for 10 minutes. Do that, 3, 4, 5, 6 different times. Eventually, it will break all that rust down, and you'll be able to loosen it very easily.
Yeah, well, I want to get back to breaking rust down in just a second, but this has kind of a funny top on it.
Yeah.
And you mentioned lubricants also.
Right.
And you got a new setup here. Specifically, we're looking at this chain lube. what is going on with this crazy top sprayer thing?
We call this our Pro Straw delivery system. Now, this is a patented
Pro Straw.
It's a patented delivery system, and it's got an attached straw that you can flip up the top. You can shoot a straight stream. It's got a clear tube so you can see the product coming. You flip it down, you can shoot a fan pattern, so for big areas that you want to cover. And on the back, there's a dial, and that dial allows you.
This is I've not seen before.
Can you? I don't know if that's picking up on the audio.
Yeah, I got it.
I've never seen this thing before.
So the dial on the back allows you to adjust the flow of what's coming out of the tube. So you can put it all the way to the right and blast as much as you want out of there, and it'll shoot a straight stream. Start to click it back a little bit to the right, and it just cracks the valve so you can see just a little drip, and you can put a little drip. So if you're working on your chain and you don't want to blast product all over your rim, all over your rotor, you wipe it down, your brakes are sacrificed or whatever. So you want to just put a little bit right where you want it, and that's what this little device does.
That is so brilliant, because I think we've all done that. We accidentally just blast the side of your tire and rim and everything.
And here's a perfect
lube,
here's a
right?
perfect application. We've got our this on a couple of different products, and one is our Multimax multi-purpose lubricant. So everybody's had the squeaky door in their house. They got the 3 hinges on the door. They squirt that stuff, and it goes all over the wall.
Yeah.
So this is perfect. You can just dial that back and just put a little drip on there, and it quiets it down, and you don't have lubricant all over your painted wall.
Yeah, I don't have to lube the entire pantry.
Right.
Yeah.
I have a motorcycle that's been sitting out in the yard for a while, covered in bugs. I have to admit, this is a great bug repellent as well, but I knew I needed to coat the entire thing. And so, it was great. And then when I wanted to get into those delicate parts, you're right. I dialed it back, and this is awesome. The straw, because you don't lose how many things come with straws with a little piece of tape, and then
you lose it
after 3 times.
The rubber band on it, then the rubber band rots, and then the straw is gone.
There's no good straw retainment system.
Yeah.
This is key. I do have to say, pro tip, I've flipped that up too hard and it started to squirt out. So pro tip.
Okay. All right. Yeah.
I won't don't flip it too hard.
Yeah, if it's new and there's a little flashing on the injection molding, I would just hold that button like that and snap it up like that. But there's ways around it. But I mean, once it gets worn in, it works great.
It
works really good.
Product. Yeah.
Yep.
And an amazing top. I really love.
I wanted to talk a bit about
you mentioned
this
rust
product, because we were talking about it in the garage last weekend.
Yeah,
I have a KZ 400 1976 bike that I'm pulling out from the back of the garage. Want to get it on the road again.
Yeah.
Look in the tank. It's not too bad, but it's got red rust all over.
Red rust.
And Miss Emma, our mechanic pro, she said, go down to Home Depot, because that's where it's sold in California. Go buy the
Metal Rescue.
Pro
Blaster
Rescue
brand Metal Rescue.
Metal Rescue, and let's talk about why this is a superior product.
What is this stuff?
So Metal Rescue is a 50-50 pre-mixed, ready to go, ready to use mixture of non-acidic rust remover. Now, this has a process called chelation, and chelation is where that molecule of this Metal Rescue attacks red rust only. It doesn't affect plastic, rubber, paint, chrome, any kind of surfaces. It just attacks red rust. So if you've got a tank that's been sitting for years and years, and it's got some varnished gas, and you got some moisture in there that's created a rusted surface in there, and you want to clean it out, you clean the tank, you get it prepared, you pour this stuff right in the tank.
Mm-hmm.
You can rotate. It's got to be wet, so it's got to be soaking in this product.
Right, so
we also have,
this is a gallon jar.
That's a gallon jar. We've got this in a gel form.
Oh,
so the gel
small,
form,
small jar.
A small jar in the gel form is great for vertical surfaces. You could take a brush, paint it on there, and put a little piece of cellophane so it doesn't sag.
Mhm.
Leave it there overnight. The rust is gone. So in the inside of the tank is the number one application for this product.
Yeah.
And it will remove the rust after 24 hours. You dump it back into the thing, reuse it. Each gallon,
really?
Each gallon,
You can reuse the stuff.
you can reuse it. Each gallon will hold up to a half a pound of rust.
Whoa.
So you can
Wow.
reuse it.
So
You
don't pour it out in the garden.
Don't pour it out in the garden
but
right
you
away.
can if you
But
need
you
to.
can, because it's totally benign. It doesn't have any acid in it. You can put your fingers in there. It doesn't affect your fingers.
What does it taste like?
I wouldn't recommend to drink it, but you can use it over and over until it's like you can see it'll turn black. So it'll be black like this. It won't be thick like oil, but it'll still be a liquid form, black. At that point, you can dump it right down the drain.
I live in SoCal. SoCal, famously the home of hot rods, the home of most of the motorcycle industry, and also the home of extreme regulation. And I cannot find rust removing products. I've looked up and down. So this is available for California and in Home Depot.
It is 50 state compliant. It is in Home Depot. We're also offering it to our distribution partners in this industry, so that motorcycle repair shops and enthusiasts that are working on their KZs and their Kawasaki's and things, they have the ability to get this stuff.
It's so cool that it's available through, just sources that most of us can access just as a home gamer.
Yeah. Yeah. And Blaster Holdings is a house of brands. We've got, Blaster. We've got Gunk. So Gunk are cleaners and degreasers. We've got wipes. We've got contact cleaner. We've got brake cleaners.
This engine cleaner, carb cleaner, we use it all the time.
Great.
Yeah.
We've got Tight Seal, which is our tire repair product. So you could use that if you're on your ATV out in the woods and you get a flat tire and you need to get back to the truck. You could that has enough pressure to fill the tire up and it will rotate through to plug the hole. We've got a product called Surface Shield, and Surface Shield is a rust protectant. It's a lanolin based rust protectant. You spray it on the underside of your truck, your car, your trailer. It wicks all the moisture away and it'll protect up to 2 years.
It's lanolin based, so it's good for saddle sores too.
Well, I don't know about that, but what happens is you spray it on the underside of your car. It wicks the moisture away. It builds up a little bit of road grime on there. And then if you're in Cleveland, Ohio, you probably want to reuse it once a year, but it will protect the underside of your car for the entire winter.
DIY undercoating.
That's right.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Being in Cleveland, also, you must be a hero. You must be a local hero and Blaster. How many bathtubs now does the factory have with all these new products?
We've actually expanded our manufacturing facility, and we're just launching a 350,000 square foot distribution center just south of Cleveland. Our world headquarters are in Valley View, Ohio, which is just south of Cleveland. We do all of our sales and marketing from that location. We've got manufacturing that we're expanding, all the time, and always putting more and more money into the brand, whether it's with the Cleveland Guardians in Cleveland, whether it's with our race team, Partzilla, Blaster Products, or BlasterPower.com. We're putting money into marketing all the time. So we're really getting the brands out there, and it's going to be something special.
And super cool. This is made right here at home.
Yeah, it's made right here.
Just real quick, you're continuing a line for power sports. You want to talk about some of the other products?
Yeah. So we've got 6 new products that we're going to be taking to the power sports distribution customers only. We're not going to be taking these. You won't see these at retail, at your automotive retails and your mass merchants, if you will. We've launched 6 new products. These are the first 6. So the first 2 that have the Pro Straw are the chain lubricant, a synthetic polymer formula. This stuff works great on O-ring chains, X-ring chains, and standard chains, and a chain cleaner. So between these 2 products, you got your chain covered. We've got air filter cleaner and air filter oil. And so these work on both paper and foam based air filters. Nice. So that's great for your K&N type filters and others. And then we've got a mud blaster, which is kind of a mud release. You would put that on the underside of your fenders when you go out into the mud.
Ooh,
the mud falls right off.
Like you put it on before?
Before.
Okay.
Yeah, this would be a before, and this would kind of be an after. So this is your factory shine, which is similar to products out there that smells like a fruity cherry smell. It restores. It's got UV protecting properties, and it restores plastics to look like new.
Yeah,
so
it's nice that this smells like fruity cherries, because I think PB Blaster, we all know what it smells like, but it's an acquired taste.
It is an acquired smell. Some people would like to put that in a the form, put it behind your ears, or an air freshener, but it smells like it works.
Yeah. That was going to be my question. Out of all these flavors available, what would make the best, cologne?
I would say probably factory shine, because it's got that nice smell. But again, acquired smell, product right here
It depends on your dating profiles.
I love that smell myself.
That is the smell of success. After you've tried with every other penetrant and you can't break a nut loose like that. That smells like that's the smell of victory.
Sure.
It's the smell of success for sure. Yeah.
So PB Blaster, it's available most automotive stores.
That's right.
I said PB Blaster. We gotta train everyone. Blaster is the line, the entire line.
That's right.
Blaster. Find it just about anywhere, right?
Just about anywhere. Blaster and Gunk are they're global brands. We have them in all of our retail partners: automotive retail, mass, hardware, industrial, farm and ag.
Yeah.
So you can find these products at all those retail
global
locations.
brands. These are sold outside the U.S. too?
We do have some sales in Canada and Mexico and Australia. And so, yeah, we're reaching the world with our brands.
That's super cool.
I will say, like, especially at our garage, but any garage mechanic should have the engine cleaner, the carb cleaner, and the PB Blaster.
Must have.
Whenever someone's going to the automotive store, like, do we need any more? We always keep these on the shelves.
Right. Yeah.
It is the best product. So now can you tell us the secret ingredients?
Yeah, what is the secret ingredient behind the PB?
I could tell you that, but then I'd have to, you know the rest.
I thought it was rock
I'm
and
just
roll,
kidding.
but
the efficacy is so important for Blaster, specifically because this flagship product, PB Blaster, again, it's a tool and it's used by professionals. So professionals have to trust the brand. So in order for us to make sure that the professionals trust us, efficacy of the product is number one. We put the best formulation we can in there, and we make sure that it works. And so that the professional says, yes, I will vouch for Blaster. If the professional vouches, then so does the DIY.
So can we look forward to coming back next year and finding energy drinks?
Probably not.
Okay.
But I can tell you that when the pandemic hit, Blaster did have a hand sanitizer, and it was a really cool, and it came in a metal bottle like this with a pump top on the top. It was perfect for your car. It went right in the thing. So you would come out of the store, you could spray your hand, your wheel, and off you'd go. It was a great product.
That's awesome.
We don't do that anymore, but I'm sure like everybody else, it was a flash in the pan. But yeah, you never know what the next new product's going to be. Most likely, it's going to be another group of products for power sports. Potentially, marine is another one that we're looking at. And
how about Jeeps?
Jeeps. So we've got Jeeps covered. We got Jeeps covered. We know it's a Jeep thing, and we know that Jeep people are very critical to what they put. This is Jeep approved.
Oh, Jeep approved.
Well,
yeah.
I appreciate your time. I'll tell you the one thing I didn't know existed that I'm excited now about is the Metal Rescue in the gel that you can brush on. That's a product I need to go try.
Does that smell like eggs by chance?
No, it's got kind of a lemony smell to it, but what that's really good for is you go to the grocery store, the here comes the cart, and it slams into your door, and there's a little rust spot that forms on your door.
I got one of those.
That's perfect. You put that on there, you paint it on there, put your cellophane so it doesn't sag, come back the next day, clean it off, and just touch it up, and you're good.
Yeah.
It keeps that rust from spreading.
Yeah. One of my biggest complaints with gel rust removers was the smell. And if this smells like lemon, I'm all about it. I'm all for it.
Yeah.
So.
And I love that it doesn't attack beyond what it's supposed to do.
Exactly.
That's really cool.
It's cool. Very safe. Very safe.
Well, thank you very much, and for sharing some of the tips. Now I like this
Pro Straw.
Pro Straw. Pro Straw. So
with flow control technology. That's what
flow straw with flow control.
Pro Straw.
I think we all need a little flow control in our lives.
Control flow technology.
It's written right on the side. Yeah. Okay.
And of course, if anybody is interested, blasterproducts.com. They can learn about these things all day long.
Great.
Thank you. So much.
Thank you very much.
Can't wait for Barnacle Blaster.
Thank you.
Thanks.
All right.
Liza here. Just wanted to quickly say, if you recognized that voice, we didn't say who it was. Who are you, sir?
My name is Junky Turdman, and I'm from Creative Riding Motorcycle Podcast.
We got special guests in the house. Hey, Junky. Thanks for joining us. Check out Creative Riding Podcast.
If you know what's good for you, you won't. Thanks.
I'll just grab it later. All right, thanks. Sorry for this.
Okay, so Anybody who's been following the KTM saga over the past few weeks has learned that quite recently, MV Agusta, which was 50% owned by the KTM group, has now gone back to the original owner. So I took the opportunity of making a beeline over to the MV Agusta stand. We had a chat with Ryan, who's a very nice young man. And he gave us the straight dope about where MV Agusta are right now, where he hopes they'll be. And we had a little preview of the new models. Oh, God, the beautiful bikes. Okay, good morning. Here we are at, I believe, is this day 3 of AimExpo?
It is.
And it's the last day. However, this is an interview I'm very, very excited about. I am with Jose Galena. This name means nothing to you, I guarantee. But what Jose does will be of great interest. He is a representative of MV Agusta North America.
Yeah, so marketing for North America. For
You guys have been in the news lately.
So, there's a lot of things going on. There's a lot of fluidity.
Yes.
Between KTM, who basically owned MV Agusta up until a couple of weeks ago.
Well, they owned half and one share.
Right. So let's get down to brass tacks, because I already ended up with egg on my face with the CEO of KTM North America, and I was corrected. So I'd love to get the straight dope on where you're at with MV Agusta.
Yeah. So, number one, the whole thing is very positive and very good for us, good for KTM. They, like I said just now, they owned 50% and one share of the brand. The other half was still owned by Timur Sardarov.
Right.
The Russian guy.
Yeah.
The guy who was doing it since 2018. When all this started to happen and everything went to the Austrian court, whatever, it was decided that KTM would release their interest in our brand. And court things happen in Austria. I don't know all the details, whatever, but Timur ended up coming back and acquiring the other half that was
so
owned by
now
KTM.
he's
That's
the
simple.
entire controlling party in
Yes.
KTM.
So not in KTM, in his own,
forgive me,
That's okay,
in MV Agusta.
Yeah, so he actually started a company called Art of Mobility SA. And that company, he's the CEO, and that company owns MV Agusta Motor SPA in its entirety.
Fantastic. So, future's bright.
Yes.
Let's talk about a little bit about the current lineup.
Okay.
I've always had a soft spot for Italian motorcycles. And of course,
who doesn't?
Well, exactly.
Anybody who knows.
Anybody who knows always loves Italian bikes. And of course, Ducati this and Ducati that. However, to me, the glamorous ones, the ones that really get your heart pulsing, have always been MV Agusta.
Yeah.
For so long.
Yes.
So, oh my God, the more I look at it, we are looking at the most gorgeous silver, dark blue, metallic, and gold Brutale.
Yeah.
Tell me about a little bit. I'm just completely in love with this bike just by looking at it.
This is to celebrate all our victories at the Assen TT.
Right.
So we've had 35. So that's why up here you'll see 35. Actually, says 35 TT. 35 TT Assen victories. So just to commemorate that, like before this one too, a few years ago we did a Nürburgring edition. It was kind of just this like really kind of racy edition of the Brutale RR like this. Some cool facts about this one: it's limited to 300, like a lot of our motorcycles are. This one's number 223 of 300, as you can see right here in this tank protector thing. This bike too, the Nürburgring had BSTs. With this one, we went with Rotobox.
Okay.
So the Rotobox in a unique blue made for us. Really cool wheel. The barrel is actually a carbon weave.
I mean, moving forward, MV Agusta, I've always seen them as something of a boutique brand. They're for well-heeled motorcyclists. An MV is never going to be a bike that, I mean, let's be straight, attainable for working men and women, it's a stretch.
I mean,
and it's always been that way.
Yes and no. So, when the triple platform was first developed, like when it started to get developed, like this is back, the start of it was all the way in 2007, 2008 is when they started the idea. Giovanni, his idea was to make it the more common man or consumer's MV.
Right.
And it kind of does still remain like that. The price point between the inline fours and the triples is typically pretty vast. There's always about $10,000 difference there.
Right.
And with our new triple though, which is the 950, like the adventure bike you see there, no, we keep it pretty good. Actually, you can buy this bike right now. It's 19,959, I think it is, for the adventure bike that you see on the.
Yeah, I didn't know that you guys had an entry in the adventure bike. What CC is that?
We call it a 950. Technically, it's a 931. This mode right here, this one has 124 horsepower.
Wow.
Yeah.
So, Emma, I want to play word association game. Looking at these bikes, what's the one word you would use to describe MV Agustas?
Oh, let's hear this. I'm excited. Don't offend me, please.
I have a word in my mind. I want to see what you think.
That's her.
It's just glamour.
For me, sexy.
But it amounts to the same thing.
I like opulent.
I think opulent is a very good term. So, moving forward,
yes.
Do you think MV Agusta is going to continue with the affordable platform, or are they going to move more into the niche, more into the expensive, exclusive bikes?
Under KTM, there was the plan that the affordable ones would move up in price. So they would still be like lower than the inline fours, but they would all like basically would not have had a motorcycle that started under 27,000.
Right.
I think that might still be the trajectory after 2-3 more years, but possibly not also, considering how we just repriced this adventure bike a little bit. There might always be that affordability factor. I mean, it's still $20,000 and up, but that more affordability factor to the triple
and
cylinder.
I want to be clear. I'm not using the fact that they are so expensive and exclusive as a bad thing.
No,
there's a place for everything. I mean, Lamborghinis have as much of a place in the car world as Fiats.
Of course, everything.
Everything has its place. I mean, do you think the more affordable MVs perhaps dilute the very exclusive ones a little?
You know, I go back and forth with that for sure. But no, I think I really like companies that kind of have like a good, better, best kind of thing, you know? And it's like, you know, everybody, or at least me, I want an AMG GT 63S, right?
Right.
Can I get one? No, but can I get a GLC 63? Like, probably.
So,
You know,
I mean, it's you're buying into you're actually buying into the make rather than into the particular model. So there's value in that.
And there's plans to grow. You know, actually I started a club in Southern California, like me, myself, and I'm starting to grow that network of when you own one, it's a bit more of an experience, even past the experience of buying the motorcycle and getting the extra box and getting the certificate and just going over it and finding new details every single day. Beyond that, the experience, and hopefully build a world, more of an MV world that revolves around a luxury and a refined motorcycling experience for anybody at any level that has the MVs.
Right. So, Emma, I want to make a declaration.
Do it now.
So Jose, have you ever heard the word motosexual?
Oh, motosexual. I think I could be a motosexual. Depends on the definition. Wait. Define it first, because this is
it's whatever you want it to be. But we are all motosexuals.
Yeah,
and
sure.
I'm going to declare, and fight me if you want. MV Agusta has been for years and still has the best ass on a motorcycle.
Oh, I agree.
Look at this ass.
Yeah.
Look at this ass.
Yes.
That exhaust, that tail.
Yeah.
I mean,
the 4 tailpipes. This is going back to the F1s of
F4,
20 years
F4.
ago.
Yes.
Yeah. So, and that's become something of a signature.
Yes.
For all the bikes. It's just gorgeous.
Actually, I'm not just the marketing guy. I own an F4. I actually own the final F4 that was imported to the US. That was non-limited edition.
Is it the square pipe or the round pipe?
The square pipe, yeah. So it's a 2019 spec, which I think there is actually only one. It was air freighted by the client that owned it that bought it, purchased last minute, like last one off the thing. That's my bike now.
Those are
very good care of it.
The best ass on a motorcycle, full stop.
And I have the just to get more nerdy, I have the Aero RG4 full exhaust that's made by Aero for us. So it's got the same shape, but it's more refined. It's all titanium.
He knows. He gets.
And right now,
you're a motosexual.
Hold on, listen. I almost just paid €350 for carbon fiber tips that Aero made in the period, where I would have to drill out the rivets and replace the anodized black tips with matte carbon fiber ones.
What are you waiting for?
That's 350 euros for a little piece of carbon fiber.
What are
That's
you
not
waiting
interesting.
for?
I know.
You know how important it
The
is.
guy's playing the game. He's like, I have 2 of them, but I also have 2 bikes that I always think about installing them. He's like, I would let one go for 350 euros. I'm like, you know what? That's pretty fair to complete my bike. 350 more euros. Like, what's 350 more euros at this point?
But, you know, I think it's so delightful that somebody like you, who's really worked their way up the company, still has the passion to ride one of the products from so long ago.
Yeah. And it's cool because some people are like, oh, are they not reliable? I'm like, I don't know, man. I have 6,800 hard miles on my F4 and hard, like, you know, roll racing. We're riding around with my friends fast. And it's been fine. I mean, I'm on top of maintenance, which I think everybody should be on all motorcycles. Maybe that's why mine is fine. I'm maniacal about it. I have really good access to techs and keep it pristine. But yeah, it's been
no
issue.
Think from a mechanic standpoint, most Italian bikes fall into the same category. They can be very reliable as long as you maintain them.
Yeah, exactly.
We've all become a little bit immune because Japanese bikes suffer abuse in terms of maintenance.
Yeah.
Basically, a Honda,
Yeah.
you can not change the oil in a Honda and it'll keep going. You can't get away with that with a European bike. If it says you change the oil at this and you change the coolant at this, you do it. And as long as you follow those instructions, they're very reliable.
So feel free, if you want to, in any of your marketing, use the fact that the Motorcycles and Misfits podcast has said,
declared,
this is the sexiest motorcycle.
I'm excited to listen to it. Where do you guys publish it?
Everywhere.
Everywhere. Cool.
Anywhere that
Spotify,
you can listen.
Spotify.
We're all over it.
Motorcycles and Misfits.
Yeah.
It's awesome. I actually like that. I consider myself a bit of a misfit. I was a very punk rock kid growing up. And I follow this guy on Twitter. He's always talking about how the misfits always win. And, he now created a clothing company that did like 100 million in sales last year. And he's just like, I'm just a misfit. Had I been normal, I would not be 100 millionaire.
Cool. So, and you got an adventure bike. Should we expect to see a dirt bike, a scooter, anything else coming down the line?
No, there could be possibly a naked bike that has this new bigger motor in it coming soon. So that. And then some other sub models of this adventure bike for sure. Like this is the more enduro one. There's one that comes with more aggressive knobby tires and other stuff that's a bit more off-road going. That was a launch.
Now, can I ask you, which do you consider the flagship?
This one.
The fully fared one?
Yeah. That's a $70,098 motorcycle.
Which that's the
Super Veloce 1000 Oro. So as you know, if you as a fan, and if you don't, we'll all learn that every time we come out with a new motorcycle since the F4, the Oro is the first one. So essentially it's a launch edition.
Got it.
So historically there's always 300 Oros. This one, so many people wanted it, we decided to make 500. So 500 of these, launch edition, all carbon fiber bodywork, a ton of extra things. And it's actually possible that there will never be a regular production version of this bike itself. So there may not be a plastic fared one. It might be this and a couple of
extraordinary.
Well, we're glad to see MV Agusta here. We're glad to see that they're not going anywhere and to know that the future is assured.
No, and for sure. We were profitable in North America this last year, and we are continuing on our trajectory. And actually, with the whole KTM thing, John might have mentioned it's a phase out all the way through July.
Right.
So it's a slow. We're not, they're not dropping us, and we're not dropping them. We're going to continue to work together through July and sort everything out.
And I was going to say, I noticed that you're based in Marietta.
Yes,
exactly the same spot as KTM.
Yeah, the same office. Yeah, we have the same office.
Any friction in the office? Any sort of
no. It's actually even more. You mean last week I went and did a photo shoot for a magazine, and I talked to the media guy. He's like, oh, I got to take that guy one of our Husqvarnas. Like, do you mind just taking it in your truck when you go up there taking photos? Like, yeah, absolutely.
That's great. No. Well, thank you so much for the interview.
Thank you.
No, thank you.
And yeah, I'm just looking forward to it. I got to tell you before I go.
Yes.
If I was to write you a check right now for this bike,
yes,
how much would it have to be?
Whose name is the check to?
I'd write it to you personally.
MSRP 47 and change for this one.
Good God. Ooh. Oh, what a bike!
Where do you live? What state do you live in?
California. So I pay all the things.
We got to get one of those Washington or Oregon addresses.
Just pay a little less.
Cool.
But dear God, it's pretty.
It is.
It
well,
really
thank you very much.
Cool.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
So you found something pretty interesting, didn't you, Craig?
We got an excellent opportunity to talk to Clinton at Battery Tender about their new products. Very, very pertinent as well to the motorcycle community and all our listeners out there, because it seems like the ever-going issues of batteries, keeping them maintained.
Especially for you with your school bikes.
We have almost 100 bikes. And so we got a lot of great information that we previously didn't know about how to maintain batteries. And we're going to dive into it here in a second. And Clinton was very kind enough to spend a few minutes with him and had a lot of great things to say. All right, this is Craig Zilla with the Motorcycles and Misfits podcast. We got Clinton Green here with Battery Tender. Clinton, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself and what role you play with Battery Tender?
Hey, Craig, thanks for having me here. We're at Expo 2025. I love talking about Battery Tender products. My name is Clinton Green. I'm the Vice President of Global Sales here at Battery Tender. I've been with the company for about 8, almost 9 years now. We're based out of DeLand, Florida, and we're a family-owned business. The third generation is running the company today. We're celebrating our 60th year in business this year.
I love a family business.
Absolutely. We do too.
Well, it's a pleasure being here with you. A lot of our listeners, deal with dead batteries and maintenance issues. What can you share about how to get the best life out of your battery?
Well, it is absolutely critical. There's so many riders. There's certain parts of the country where you can ride year round, but there's so many greater parts of the country where there is a seasonality and you can't ride in the winter months. And it's just absolutely critical to always attach your bike, your motorcycle, your off-road power sport toy to one of the Battery Tender chargers. It'll keep your batteries charged and maintained in that off season when you're not using it. And when the season turns on, you're ready to go.
That's great. That's great. And then what are some of the latest developments with Battery Tender products? I know you guys have been doing a lot of R&D and have come out with some new solutions and maybe some upgrades. Can you share a little bit about those?
Absolutely. We're really excited by our brand new product. It's called Charge and Start. And what makes Charge and Start really unique, it has 2 primary functions. It has a built-in charger that will charge an AGM, a lead acid, or a lithium battery. And it also has a jump starter. This particular unit I have in my hand today has a 1 amp charger. It's a fully automatic charger, works in the same way as any other Battery Tender charger, will healthily maintain your battery, keep it ready to go when you're ready to ride.
We have jump packs and we have chargers. This is all in one. Like it.
Absolutely.
Nice.
And then the second function that Liza's already touched on is a 1200 amp jump starter. That makes you very portable. So if you're charging and storing your machine for a long period of time, or if you're out on a ride and you have a dead battery situation, you have a 2-in-1 product that will allow you to charge and jump start out of one single product. It's an exciting product. It'll be available in May of 2025.
Nice. And then what solutions, we have riders that maybe are far away from their Battery Tender bank. What can you recommend for, charging anywhere in the garage if their bikes are maybe stored a little bit far away from that unit?
So we have 2 different options that are available to you. Number 1, we can run extension cables from a power outlet over to the bike in a far off reach in the garage. But if you happen to have bikes that are in a storage shed or being stored in a storage lot or something along that line, we have solar products. And solar presents an opportunity to be able to charge remotely when you cannot plug in. So we have some great solar products that have integrated solar controllers, which means it'll regulate the charge on the battery. When the battery is fully charged, the solar controller will stop, allowing current to go to the battery. And then when the voltage starts to drop, and we know if you let your ride sit for a long period of time, the battery voltage is going to drop.
I like that. How large is the solar panel?
So the panels range anywhere from about a 15 by 15 all the way up to a 22 by 12.
Whoa.
So they're different sizes for different power. So it just depends on how much power you want to be able to put onto the battery.
I really like that. You don't have to have the extension cords running everywhere.
It's actually really great. We had one on one of our motorcycle school 40-foot containers, and we drilled down in, and we were charging some of our school bikes directly from the Battery Tender solar. So it worked wonders for us.
As you can see here on the packaging, you can see we have a storage shed where someone has mounted a solar panel on top that let the cable run down into the shed and they can maintain it. Now, all of our solar panels can be used indoor or outdoors. So if somebody's got a vehicle, a jet ski, an RV, a boat, or anything like that that's been parked outside, you can still use solar to be able to charge those batteries.
I like that.
With those solar panels, Clinton, does it require any maintenance like dust and rain and debris? Is it a good idea to get out there and wipe it off sometimes?
That's a great point, Craig. You're absolutely right. Anytime the solar panel is blocked, any sort of blockage, dust won't affect the panel's function, but any sort of debris, anything that's blocking any of the cells, leaves, things of that nature, it will affect the performance of the solar panel.
Nice. Well, we appreciate you spending a couple minutes with us out here. And
thank you for coming by.
I got some questions first. Battery tender's been known as being like really the first like floating charger, right? Absolutely. There's a lot of technology in a charger, and you don't want to just go to Harbor Freight and buy the cheapest little charger. How do these do between lead acid batteries and the newer batteries? How does it's a smart system, right?
It is a smart system. So we've designed all of our products, with the exception of our two of our legacy products. They all now have a lithium program in charging in them. So the three chemistries that are the most popular today in recreation is AGM, lead acid, and lithium. Lithium is fast rising. A lot more folks are putting lithium in. They weigh less. They have a lot more starting power, and they like them. So with all of our battery chargers, most all of our battery chargers, we have a lithium selection that will allow you to select lithium, and that will prolong the life. A regular battery charger, non-lithium battery charger, is capable of charging a lithium battery. You will diminish the life of the battery. So a battery that could last you 6 years may only last you 4 years because you didn't get the proper charge.
Now, you had started with how does one revive? How does one revive a battery that's been neglected? Can it happen?
It is possible, Liza, but I would contend, and I say this all the time, the unicorn factory where batteries were built to last forever burnt to the ground. At some point or another, batteries have to be replaced, but all of our chargers do require a minimum of 2 volts. If it does not see 2 volts in the battery, it won't recognize there's a battery attached to it. So I might make a suggestion as kind of a MacGyver approach to trying to get some voltage into the battery. I would suggest jump-starting the machine, put the battery in a bike or in a machine, jump-start it, let's get some voltage built up into it, and then put it on a charger to allow you to do that.
Would you recommend bringing in a second battery and jumper cables so that the charger recognizes the voltage from the other battery, but then starts pushing the charge through, which will get...
That is an option as well. So there's a lot of creative ways to get a voltage into the battery, but all of the battery tender chargers require a minimum of 2 volts.
A standard Yuasa battery for a standard bike, pick your bike, if properly maintained using a good charger, how long do you think it would last?
It's Liza, this is going to sound disingenuous, but if I wish I had some of our customers who tell us about 12-year, 14-year batteries, it is amazing. If you have a high-quality battery to start off with and you maintain it properly with a battery tender charger, you can get 10 years easily out of one of those batteries.
I did. My Versus was a 10-year battery.
Yeah, nice.
I sold it, and it still was going. But a lot of it was maintaining. And also, I assume some of your chargers have the, what do you call the mode where like the reverses of polarity?
Desulfation?
Yes.
We have opted not to do that. The reason being is that when you desulfate, lead acid batteries have these lead plates in there.
Yeah.
And when the battery starts to perform poorly, they get deposits all on the plate. And when you desulfate a battery, you're sending a large bulge of energy onto the battery, and it's vibrating those plates. When it vibrates those plates, some of those particles start to get waterborne, and they fall down to the bottom of the battery. At some point or another, it's going to create a bridge and an arc.
Yeah.
So sometimes desulfating will extend the life of the battery for a reasonable amount of time, but other times it'll give a consumer a false sense of security that they've got a battery that's going to work for a long time. They're going to get on a picnic, they're going to go on a road trip, stop the car, and discover that the battery needs to be replaced.
I've just been schooled.
Yeah, we've had that happen too with our school bikes. We think it brings it back.
Yeah.
We thought that the sulfate got broken loose.
Yeah.
Get the student on, turns the key, and doesn't work.
The last thing I just want to say, because battery tender, again, everyone knows that little floating charger.
Yes, ma'am.
How many different products do you have? You still have that little simple floating charger?
We still make the battery tender junior. That's the very first one there. And then we have a big 10 bank over here.
10 bank?
Charge 10 batteries at any given time. We have a total of today in our program, somewhere close to 200 different products. We also do EV charging. We do marine. We do a lot of other products as well. Golf carts. So we have a lot of products in a lot of categories.
So go to batterytender.com to find the right charger for you.
Absolutely.
Pretty simple. Thank you so very much.
Thank you, Liza. Thank you, Craig.
Appreciate it, man.
Thank you very much. All right.
High beam, and then
So, AimExpo, great event. I love going to it every year and all the people we see and the things we learn. But what a great addition that it partnered with the One Show here in Vegas. Y'all know we go to the One Show up in Portland. Jim, what do you expect from the One Show?
You know, you expect it not to be what the bike shows used to be, like the Clubman's event, those kinds of things. A bunch of old guys walking around staring at bikes could not be more boring, right?
There's a circle pit out there that's waiting for us.
There's currently a mosh pit in the show.
Yeah.
So, you know, they bring the joie de vivre to the motorcycle game that really just reinvigorates. And I think the whole thing of motorcycling, it gets you fired up again. But you also see like all the younger people getting involved, right? You know, you got a punk band going, there's cool art. So you expect art, you expect music, and you expect motorcycles.
And food. There's some amazing food trucks out there. Yeah, it's a great event. Mike, this is your first time here. What do you think?
I just came here on a whim and I'm having a blast. And what I'm really noticing is how many people have come to you guys up and said hello that are familiar with the podcast. I'm an ambassador of the podcast for you guys. I tell so many people about it in all these countries that I go to, but it was really fun seeing that. And, of course, I like more the kind of dirty builds, you know, the kind of old, look like riders, you know.
Well, I asked everyone to find a bike they love. What bike do you love the most here and why?
Well, there's so many that I like, but one of them I really liked is the 1980. It's a XS650 Yamaha because I used to have one. Yeah. But man, it's cool. It's a rider, but it's got a beautiful build on it. Really. And when I look at these builds, I think about all the time. But somebody had a vision and they carried it through. They didn't quit and they've ended up with this thing. I look at it and I just think of the hours and the love and the time and how many beers and coffees and cigarettes were smoked when they built this thing. And now it's fruition. It's here for everybody to see. And I just see the love and the joy of motorcycles in each one of them.
Junky, do you have a favorite out there?
You know what? I don't. This is also my first time at the One Show. I'm not allowed in the Pacific Northwest anymore after that one time. And, I'm glad they came to Vegas. I have family that lives here, and I can tell you, aside from like the Goonies out here and some of the scooter, Vegas doesn't have a motorcycle culture. There's clubs here.
It's got the custom Harley thing really strong here. The Dyna Bros.
That's strong here, but it doesn't have what they've brought to the venue tonight, and that's what's important to me. Is hopefully this will inspire. Vegas is full of art. If you guys haven't been around, it's full of art. It's full of. This is the entertainment capital of the Southwest, but I don't see anything like the One Show. What's happening here? So I really think that Tor's done something. It's a good idea. This is a good spark to get the fire. No, I don't want to talk about fires in Southern California. Too soon. But this is the spark that I think Vegas might see. If this is a success, then it's going to make waves here. It's going to make some real ripples, and all the bikes are crap.
Emma, what's been your favorite?
That's no contest for me. 1962 BSA Road Rocket. And I mean, the thing is, when you get to these old school builds, that bike's got two histories. Rolled off the line in 62 in Birmingham, as did I. So we're already kindred spirits. And so you've got that history, but you've got the history of the build. And the build was clearly done in the early 70s. And so you've got all that rich history in that Southern California culture in this bike that rolled off the line halfway around the world. And it's just so charming and so nostalgic. And I've had so many A10s over the years. And they're just the loveliest bikes to ride. I would ride the shit out of that bike and love every moment of it. I absolutely love it.
Nice. Scotty, what's been your favorite?
Oh, it's such a hard one. I found there's a bike out there that's got a little sign on it, and it says "First Build." Oh, which is really, really cool because I've never built a custom chopper, and the only information on it is that it is built by Bob, and it's a early 90s Harley with like no information on it, but it's so clean, it's so cool, it's super inspiring in a way that's totally different from my other very most favorite bike, which is outside under a tarp in the backyard. There's a trike out there.
Oh, I saw it.
With a electric winch system, and the floorboards have stirrups. There's straps to keep your legs from flopping around, and the winch on the back picks up and pulls around a wheelchair.
We have actually
that thing is
we've interviewed
super
the
cool.
cat who owns that in previous episode many years
cat
ago.
is rad.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's a very, very cool guy.
Yeah, so I've got two favorites.
So my favorite, I always like the ridiculous, the ones that don't take themselves seriously. And is right when I first came in the door, I saw it. And it is the Trail 70.
Oh, yeah.
That's my favorite bike is your favorite, the chopper.
The Trail 70 chopper, this like 6 foot long, 1 inch tube fork.
And a 6 foot long fork on that is like 6 over.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I know. Long and a fuzzy seat and custom pipes and a beautiful custom paint job. And it's ridiculous, but just looks fun.
Yeah.
But it was done well, too.
Beautifully done.
Beautifully done. I just love the ridiculous. What about you, Craig?
It was a tough one for me, and I ran across this bike by builder Jamison Shaw, and you know the 1970s CB 750s are a dime a dozen, cafe racered out to the max, but I am a sucker for that candy paint. So this one I thought was one of the most well-done candy paints with gold
beautiful.
fleck in that almost kind of vintage Toyota colors.
Yeah,
but it was muted, and the colors just popped the way they had the lighting on it. And God, that 750 engine is just iconic and a classic, and so many people have ridden that bike that I just thought it was a gem in the rough. Yeah.
Chris, did you have a favorite?
I'm going to say it wasn't a favorite, but the choppers. There's so many choppers. All of them had suicide shifters. I've been around Harleys for a long time, and I could imagine these were all in boxes. And now you can't see any wiring anywhere. The frames are perfectly done. The gas tanks are beautifully handmade, you can tell. And the care and the time in each one of these. And there was, I don't know, there's probably 15 choppers, just immaculate. So that kind of blew me away.
Nice. Jim, what's been your favorite?
Yeah, well, you know how much I like Mike Beck and how much I like the desert. So I'm going with some of the old things, and I like the bikes that are purpose built. Right, the choppers are cool, but they're really impractical. Right, but some of these bikes that are used for racing or competing, where you compete, people have customized all these things for purposes. So I hadn't seen this before. I came across a 1968 MX6 Challenger, aka Grumpy.
I saw that one.
Right.
Yeah.
So this is a rare Greaves MX6 that was built 1 year only for Jack Nicholson's dealership, who is a West Coast distributor. They used the MX6 used an updated Challenger frame, same as the MX5, and the new 250cc two-stroke. Well, they took that out and put in a 500cc Triumph Twin 4-stroke to get the horsepower up to like 41. And the result is the Grump. The Grumpy.
Yeah,
beauty. But it was cool. I mean, every little thing was built out and specific for desert racing in that period, it felt like.
Right.
So that was my favorite by far.
Well, do you guys agree this has just been a great addition to the AimExpo, AIM One Show? I mean, they got you to come out.
It's a match made in heaven, darling.
Well, are you guys going to go to One Show in Portland? Maybe? Yes. Yeah, I'm going. Those who want to join us, Portland, May, I think 2nd, 3rd, 4th. It's the first weekend of May. Come up to Portland to the One Show. It's a great show. What a great weekend. You guys ready to go party it out?
So.
Thanks, everyone, for listening. And we love you guys. Have a good one.
Cool.
Cool.
Cool.